Hey, so tonight we're going to go over a couple things. I want to show you guys creating a service group. In the last video, we set up our domain controller and created the firewall rule and all the required ports to allow our workstation here to authenticate and join the domain and get the group policies and all that stuff. So I just figured I'd show you, like I already went ahead and did the group for this one. We'll do another one. So what I did is I took all the ports we had assigned and added, and I put them into this nice little group. So now you're just seeing that, and you can go ahead and you can add or remove from here. So we'll do one more. So I'll show you how to do that. So you're going to head over to Host and Services. You're going to go to Service Group, and we're going to add one. Call this Web Browsing. Required ports for web browsing. Basic. Let's do that. Let's do basic web browsing. And in here, we're just going to add in our HTTP and HTTPS. And save it. So now we've got our basic web browsing required ports. Then we can come over here. We can go to our external rules. And as you can see, we've got our access VLAN to the WAN, to the internet. So we'll go ahead and we'll remove those. And we'll go put in our basic web browsing group. And we can save that. It's just a nice little way to clean things up, especially when you got lots of ports of this gigantic list there. You really don't need that. All right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to activate LDAP on this thing so we can add our server for our Active Directory server to authenticate against groups and users, which in turn we can start creating firewall rules against certain users or certain groups. So you're going to head over to authentication. You'll automatically be on the service tab, and then you're going to click add. And then here you got, as you can see, there's quite a selection of things you can add. A radius server, something like Cisco ICE, Tactics Plus, even Windows radius server if you want to. Active Directory, LDAP server, an eDirectory. So we're going to just stick with our Active Directory. So here you're going to put in your server name, which is HQ-AD. Well, actually, we've got an AD. I think it's HQ-AD. Yep. And then we're going to head over, and our IP is 10.10.10.10. Right now, we're going to do this as well to create a certificate, root certificate, so we can actually have secure access. But just to get this going, we're going to have to use plain text. If we try to use SSL or start TLS right now, it's going to fail. It won't join. And then BIOS name is AD. I've created a service account in our Active Directory, which I can show you here. I usually go ahead and do this just so that, if you have any kind of rotation on your administrator passwords or anything like that, it does not need to be an administrator either for this to work. So I went ahead and created a service account. So we've got our XG user here, just a basic account. So the user cannot change password never expires. You use a strong password on there, 30-40 characters, just so that you don't have to worry about that ever getting cracked. I think I just use something simple. So our domain name is v.killseclab.com, and then our search query is going to be DC equals AD, comma space, DC equals killseclab, comma space, DC equals com. So this is going to search the whole structure of your root of your Active Directory. So it's going to search from the top here, top down, right? DC equals AD, DC equals killseclab. You could get in and go even further and put like, CN. I don't have advanced features on. Let's put advanced features on. You can come in here and you can go to the properties and go to attribute editor. And we could go as granular as doing this full distinguished name. So if we just wanted to search this one OU, we could do it this way as well. But we're not. We're going to do the whole directory just in case we want some other groups added, or maybe we create some separate OUs. So we're going to add that there. We're going to test the connection. As you see, everything's good to go. So we'll save it. So now with that being done, we can import our groups. So let's We'll open up this little import group wizard. We're going to click start. So we're going to click our base DN. And as you can see, we can see all of our stuff here now. So we can just go ahead and we can do our groups and we can do our users. Sometimes you might not want to do it. You might not want to do everything. You could do the whole OU. We definitely don't need service accounts, so there's no point. I mean, if you're just going to use this for instance, for VPN, like SSL VPN to VPN back into the office, you could just create a VPN users group. Why it's not letting us select just an individual group, I'm not sure. So we're just going to do. Oh, they already exist. Yes, because that's right. I was messing around with this. So as you can see, they're already here. So we're going to pull all these out. Get all this stuff here. So let's go back to our migration. Sorry, I always opens in my other window. Now we should be able to, yeah, we can select individual if we want. We're going to select everything, so we just have full OU. So this is just the common policy for everybody, for every group. You could set this, but we'll set this more granular later on to specific areas. Oh, you know what? Is that going to pull it? It's going to pull it in all ugly, I think. That's okay. Let's pull it in. Close. So now if we go over to our groups. Yeah, see, we could. That's not the best way to do this. Let's delete these two. We won't sync the whole OU. We'll just sync it by group, and we can create a all users group, which we'll go ahead and do. We'll sync that group as well. So let's go new group, all users. Wow, cannot spell tonight. All right, there we go. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just add everybody to this group. Let's just do it now. So we want me. We want Donald, we want Denise. Just holding control, selecting them. We want Johnny. And that's all we got for users, right? Yeah, perfect. All right. Okay. Apply. I'll head back over to our Sophos. We'll go back to our servers. We will sync our all users group now. Again, you may want to create some specific rules for these groups. You can always come in and create a, like different levels. Say you want to create a firewall rule to match a certain group of users. Create a group in AD. That's just kind of goes to that. Like for instance, if we want IT to only have 1 month unlimited access, we can come in here and change these policies out. We're not going to do that. We can add members to this. Okay. You can also create users locally. If you wanted to add in a user here, you can assign them to a specific group. Yeah, another thing for another time. All right, so that's all done. Now, once we've added this, we got to make sure we come over to services and set up our authentication method. So if we click here and then you click apply, it's going to set it the same for almost everything else. So let's apply this. The default group can stay, doesn't really matter. There we go. So now we can see, and then we can come around and we can actually change our level. So it's going to authenticate against these people first and then local second. So we'll apply that again. And it should switch everything around. And for our VPN, we want to set that to same as firewall. Fly. There we go. Okay, so now let's go ahead and head back over to here. And let's set up our certificate authority so we can do SSL authentication. So we'll go next. Let's walk through this. Quick. Probably won't see me doing any videos on how to install Windows Server. It's no different than installing Windows 10. What I use in here is I have a pre-baked image that's just been sysprepped. So when I want to add a new server, I'll come in here and I'll add a new node. I'll add Windows Server. Right now I've only got Server 2022 on here, but I'll add that in. I'll change its name. Okay, yeah, so anyways, what's going on about the sysprepped images? Yeah, like one thing I'll do is I think I'll probably put a few videos together about EVentG, how to set it up, how to create nodes, create your own templates. It's quite a powerful tool. Really enjoy it. You can basically emulate anything you want in this box. I'm of course using a enterprise grade server with lots of RAM and lots of CPU. Something is corrupted. I have no idea why that's going on there, but okay. Okay, so we're gonna first start off with our few little basic tasks. Adjust our appearance, which is actually already set, but I like to just kind of smooth things out a bit. We'll edit our power plan, put it into high performance mode, so it's using the CPUs all the time. There we go. Alright, then let's go ahead and move on over to local server. I'll assign this thing a static IP address. Turn off QoS and IPv6, not required. Let's go to 10.10.10. We'll give this one .15/24. And then we're going to point it to our domain controller and give it some Google DNS just for good measure, as we're doing quite a few NATs on the way out to the internet. Yes. Alright, now let's get this thing joined to the domain. Give it a name of HQCA, Certificate Authority. Oops. Alright. Well, there we go. Change the primary domain DNS name of this computer. Well, I think that's because I'm trying to change the name and join the domain at the same time. Let's just restart it. Doesn't seem to cause much issues. Double check here if it's showing up in our computers, and there it is. I'll go right here. You can see our firewalls here now from when we joined this as an authentication point. Okay, so all right, so this thing's almost booted up here. Once we're booted, we can go ahead and set up our certificate authority. I'll just pause, come back once she's ready to go. Alright, so we're back. Let's go ahead and install our certificate authority role. So we're going to go to manage, add roles and features. It's a role-based, feature-based installation. Next, this is our server we're installing to. We're going ahead and click Active Certificate Services. and that's all we're going to be installing on here. Next, there's no features to worry about, so we're going to do yes. So make sure certificate authority is selected. In a bigger setting where you're going to be using more internal certs for, say your switches and anything internal, intranet accessible, you may want to put on like web enrollment and a few of these other features to allow your computers, users, devices to request certificates, create sign-in requests, etc., etc. We're not going to go that far. I'll be honest, certificates are not my strong suit. Something I'm just working on learning now. They're very confusing. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this set up. I'll just wait for this to go by, and I'll be back. Okay, so we're all good to go. Features been installed, no issues. So let's go ahead and configure our Active Directory certificate services. So why we joined domain, we're going to use our domain administrator credentials for this. We are doing our certification authority role. We're going to do an enterprise CA. You can do a standalone. This is if it's not joined. Usually you would have a standalone CA and then subordinate CAs. This one would be just up once in a while, and your subordinate CAs would issue certificates, and those would be online, stuff like that. So again, we're doing this a little simpler, so we're going to do root CA. We're going to create a new private key. You can select your addition hashes here. I usually leave the hash by itself, but I like to put the key length up. We are going to, leave allow administrators to export private key non-selected. And let's go next. So this we're going to change. I want to get rid of this AD in the front. Just call this HQ-CA. We're actually going to get rid of this as well. We can leave that 5 years. You can change that to whatever you want. Some people like it smaller. Some people like it longer. All right. So that is done. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to head on over to our crypto store and allow network service access to this CA. So we're going to go into C drive, we're going to go to view, we're going to show our hidden items, go to program data, Microsoft, crypto, keys, and this is our new root cert that we just created. One big issue I see here is actually going to cause us a lot of problems. And that is our time is way off. That's unfortunate. Why is our time off so much? Okay, well, whatever. A little late now. Should have noticed that. So let's edit. Let's add network. We want network service. To apply, all it needs is read and execute. All right, so we've added network service. I don't know. This whole time thing might cause a lot of grief here. We're gonna see what happens there. All right, so now what we want to do is we're gonna want to go to our tools, certification authority. We're going to create ourselves. We're going to go to our certificate templates. We want to manage this. And we want to go to our Up Authentication. And we're going to duplicate this template. We're going to go to General. We're going to call this LDAP. LDAPS. Let's give it 5 years. Let's publish it in Active Directory. Let's do not automatically re-enroll if it already exists. We can allow private key to be exported. We'll go to security. We want to make sure all these people are good to go. We should have read and enroll. Good. issued. Where do we want to go here? Oh, yeah, subject name. So I want to go, and we want to go UPN, SPN, and hit apply. Oh, I actually apparently already have one. I guess the server didn't get wiped when I wiped it, but let's go like this. Should be good. Wow. Alright, so let's head on over to our domain controller, which is also sitting at the time. So let's do a command. Let's do gp update /force. Oops. We're going to have to reboot the domain controller once this is all done. Okay, so let's just double check, make sure we've got our trusted root CA in here, which we do now. Appears we've got 2. There we go. So that's the one we're looking for. This should be a client authentication, server authentication. We can also request a new one. We're going to request our LDAPS, so let's enroll for that as well. Error occurred. Oh, no, server request could not be submitted. Oh, interesting. Okay, so that is fine. Let's not worry about that then. I think it's because I have. Let's see if we can request it now. Yeah, it will not allow me to request that certificate. Okay, let's not worry about that. We're not going to need to worry. It's got the root. Client authentication is in there. So let's give this thing a quick reboot. Shutdown /restart /time 0. Again, with the time being off, this may not work. What are we sitting at for time here? Yeah, see, we're looking at the right time. So let's go ahead and change this to match the time of our server here, which is 1:07 a.m. and apply. So we're kind of cheating here. Your times have to be synced across everywhere. Firewall, servers, the whole shebang. Okay, while we're doing that, let's go to our certification authority. Let's go here. Actually, let's go to Cert Manager, Manage Computer Certificates. Oh, you know what? We'll just take it from the domain controller. This thing boots up. Okay, so let's go to Cert, Manage our computer certs, see if it added that LDAPS. No, it did not. Okay, let's take our trusted root certificates. We want to take our HQ-CA and we want to export this. We're going to export it as dir x509 encode.cer. Browse. We'll just give it a name. HQ-CA. And we'll finish. Okay. So then from here, we're going to log into our firewall locally so we can upload the cert from this computer. and this is going to be as go to your default gateway with port 4444. Except our little login disclaimer. Alright, so once we're into here, we will go ahead and we'll go down to certificates. We'll go to certification authorities, and we'll click add. We'll choose our file, which is going to be this one we just uploaded. We're going to leave it for validation. Oops, I'm just double checking something here. Why am I not seeing? Okay, we're going to say save. Can't do signing because we don't have the private key. And there we go. So now we've got our certification authority. You can double check that by clicking on type and clicking uploaded. And there you go. So you can see we've got our AD killsitlab.com. So now we should be able to head on over back to authentication, go to here, change this to SSL, validate, test, and it's not working. I've been having so many issues trying to get this to work. This will work, but it's not going to validate the certificate. This could be due to the time, but either way, we are now connected securely. Why I can't get this to work, I'm not sure. It just does not play well in this lab environment. I have no issues doing this. My home is set up like this. But as soon as I try to do it here in the lab, it just doesn't work. But either way, so now it's not 100% required. Of course, it's nice to have to validate against the certificate. But now, as you can see, we are now securely connected to the server. It's not going to pass your LDAP queries in plain text. We can still access everything like we should be. So that's exactly what we want to see. So yeah, that's really all it is for this one. I'll see if I could fix that this validate server certificate, why it's not allowing us to validate. If I can fix that in the lab here, I'll show you guys how to do that properly. Again, I've never had issues doing that in the real world. Why I have so many issues doing it here. But anyways, that was yeah, that's all I really had on the docket for today. Next we'll do a few other things in regards to firewall rules. I could show you doing some. We'll set up SSL VPN as well, and we can test that. I want to also deploy a branch office, do site to site, and show you guys how to do all that kind of stuff. Just kind of basic things you're going to do on a day-to-day working with these firewalls and in the small business environment. So thanks again. Bye.